listening to the Sportz Nutz.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Sportz Nutz. Woo, man! Talk about a time of ice cold temperatures. In fact, yeah, it's going to be brutally cold. Shane, man, is about to experience below zero temps. Oof, man, what's going on with you, Shane? How was your nice I guess you could call it winter treat?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Bunch of ice and sleet. I was able to get out today and check the roads out. DOT's done a great job keeping them kind of clear on the main roads. So, shout out to them for working hard during this time when we were, expecting some power outages and some fallen trees and stuff like that. Luckily, that's been to a minimal around here. So, hopefully everybody else has weathered the storm, and now it's just into these chilling temperatures that we've got right now. I think we're down in single digits as far as wind chill goes right now, and expecting I think -10 by in the morning. So it's going to be a nice day to bundle up in the morning, and get back into the swing of things with work and everything, and so just excited to get back to normalcy a little bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know exactly what you're talking about. As you guys did see, Matt will be joining us later. He had to stay at a hotel for his job, and again, the weather played a huge factor. One of our guys actually is under the weather, so you won't see him on. He also has been dealing with shoveling out almost a foot of snow, so it's been pretty interesting that the weather has played a huge role. We might have our guest come on tonight, not 100% certain. He hasn't commented back, but if not, we still have plenty to talk about. We have you guys, the most interactive crowd there is. We greatly appreciate you all as well. Let's give you a little rundown of everything. So you guys, if our guest does not come, Rick Pitino has hit a milestone recently. He got his 900th career win. Now, it has been said by many people as well, had he not gone to the pros for a decade, even he said it, he could have become one of the all-time leader in wins. All he does is win, and he really is a great one. We'll talk a little bit more about that one. Todd Helton is getting a statue. So is Larry Walker. We'll talk about those in just a few minutes, about who do you think also should have a statue of them erected at another Major League Baseball stadium. And all right, and the next one we'll talk about, y'all, this is a crazy story. This is absolutely the craziest story. The coldest ever outdoor hockey match took place this past weekend. At game time when it started, it was -28 degrees, but the temperatures continued to drop. The Milwaukee Admirals announced that the temperatures bottomed out at the game at -39 degrees. It was so cold, they actually had to pause the game just to make sure that players and fans, even the referees, stayed warm. We'll talk a little bit about that one in just a few minutes. Now, guys, the College Football Playoff Committee has announced also that the 2026-27 season will remain at a 12-team college football playoff format, but that they will vote for expansion to the playoffs to either 14 or 16 teams after next season completes. Now, they did also announce that they are going to be discussing additional expansions. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes as the possible possibility of even more expansions coming along on that one. Shane has a little sports story for us. And by the time all is said and done, Matt will also be there, and I have a little sports story to share with you guys as well. And of course, we have our honorable mentions. Really excited to cover that one. I mean, gosh, there's so many things to talk about. The sports world is crazy. Let's go right away into it. Obviously, as we don't know what's going on with our guests, so I'm going to go right into it. Matthew Stafford came up that short at the opportunity to win the NFC title and go to the Super Bowl. They lost 31-27 And then mum has been the word. It's been quiet on Stafford's camp about the possibility of him either returning or retiring. What do you think, Shane? Do you think that we've seen the last of Matthew Stafford?
I doubt it. We see a lot more quarterbacks going into a lot later years, especially if they're good quarterbacks. One mention the put in for Matthew Stafford was first quarterback in the NFL ever to throw for 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, and zero turnovers in a game in the playoffs, and not the win. So it's not like he wasn't performing. He's performed all year, MVP caliber type of player this year, and uh, there's just too much left in that arm. I think when he came out of college, it was a big arm to start with, but I just think there's too much left in the tank there, especially with the weapons that he has there in LA. It'd be interesting to see if he does decide to retire. I think it'd be a little bit too quick, in my opinion, on that one. But you never know. It always, comes up family and stuff like that. We'll have to wait and see this off season. We're going to have a few older quarterbacks that are going to be making that decision. One especially that just got a new reunion in Pittsburgh. Possibly will be re-signing too. So you never know, but it's great to see the great quarterback play continue from these guys that we've seen over the years here lately.
Yeah, and it will be weird. I will say this, that if Matthew Stafford does in fact hang it up, it's going to be really weird not to see, someone of his caliber, his talents, his everything on there again. And then obviously we know that a lot of high end generational type players, they unfortunately they don't last forever, and we're seeing he is one of those generational talents. I mean, Matthew Stafford, I remember he did amazing things at UGA, did great things at Detroit. It was up until what 5-6 years ago, it was thought about he was just the guy who threw the ball to Megatron all the time. Now he's MVP regularly mentioned, and it just a lot of things just sitting there. And I mean, if we see him go, it's going to be sad to see him go. It really will be sad to see some of that great player. Speaking of another great player, man, I'm telling you what, and our guy Ralph has said this many times about change of scenery can do one justice. Well, Sam Darnold has really turned the cheek the right way after he left New York. He was pretty decent enough in Carolina, but I mean, when he went to Minnesota, he led them. He blew everybody out of the water, and then he goes to Seattle, and look at what he's done. He's led them to the Super Bowl. Is this the kind of reaction that we knew it was going to come out of him, Shane, or is this like, we're just high on cloud nine. We're about to come down after the season, and Sam Darnold might be a joke. What do you think? Because I mean, he's really putting up tremendous numbers.
Yeah, and he's in a great offense to do those types of numbers. You can kind of tell this last game and the championship game, they missed Charbonnet there in the backfield, that two-headed monster that he had. But Sam Darnold has played great over the past 2 years. It just kind of says one thing about Minnesota. I mean, he led them to 14 wins last year, but yet they still didn't see enough in him to give him that extra shot. I think we haven't seen the last of the good Sam Darnold. I'm not going to say that it's going to be the same type of numbers that we've seen the past couple of years from him, but he's been a decent quarterback. And look, I mean, he is the first quarterback out of that draft class with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and all them to actually make it to the Super Bowl. So he's proven himself in an elite draft class, and is on the stage right now as the favorites to win the Super Bowl coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and that's also a weird stat. You said that the 2018 was a good draft class, and the fact that he is the first quarterback out of that draft class to make the Super Bowl, it says a lot, But definitely, you got to tip your cap to what has transpired with Sam Darnold, and especially the fact that he did lead Minnesota to 14 wins last season. This season, he leads to 14, 15 wins again. I mean, it's amazing. It really is true. Change of scenery can do one justice, and this really has done him absolute justice. So tip your caps to both Drake May and Sam Darnold for making it to Super Bowl 60. This is a rematch of the 2014 Super Bowl, and everybody needs to remember you should have just run the ball. They would have scored. Noah threw it, and the most infamous picture of Richard Sherman's face of the reaction comes to reality right there. So we'll see. Could there be a turn of the tide? Who knows? We'll talk about it in a couple episodes. All right. So Shane, a Hall of Fame legendary sports broadcaster, unfortunately passed away today. Actually, yesterday, or excuse me, today. Jeffrey Mason. He was 85 years old. Spent 5 decades between ABC Sports, ESPN, NBC, Fox, and the NFL Network, as well as others. He acquired over 24 Emmy Awards. He was inducted into the Sports Broadcasting Hall of Fame in 2010. Jeffrey Mason, he is one of those that you should know who that guy is, because he was such a legendary figure in the sports broadcasting world. You definitely, I guarantee you, everybody has seen him. Shane, do you have any memory of when you saw him on TV?
Not really. I mean, of course, I'm kind of cursed in being in the generation where there's a lot of turnover in the sports broadcasting world. One day we're on Fox, one day we're on ESPN. So unfortunately, I don't have many great memories specific, but was such a great guy and meant so much to, like as you said, to the sports world, and was able to give a little bit of a different insight, kind of more of a compassion I think he had towards the game more than any others that we kind of saw over the years.
Yeah, he was definitely a signature entity in the sports broadcasting world, and he will be missed. Obviously he had a tremendous career, 85-year-old. He got inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's pretty remarkable that you get inducted to Hall of Fame in general, but it's just sad to say goodbye to him. Definitely want to tip my cap to his family. He did a lot for the broadcasting industry. He really did do a lot for it. So definitely he will be missed. All right, so let's talk about this past weekend's games before we get into our rundown. Obviously, you want to talk about a tale of how weather really does affect the impact of any game. First half of the game, Shane, it's sunny and everything's smooth and flow. Both teams are going back and forth. The moment the snow really started coming down heavy, it's like Denver said, "What's snow? We don't know how to play," and they just completely stopped. Sean Payton didn't have any luck on the field goal run. I mean, this is what was really weird too. In the entire second half, Shane, they had 8 possessions, and they turned the ball over 3 times. They didn't get a single point. They lose 10-7. I mean, weather really did play a role in that one. And what did you notice about the Broncos and the Patriots game that made you say, "Man, this literally was uncharacteristic of a Sean Payton type game"?
Well, I think the Broncos kind of suffered from this, which we kind of saw this past week, especially with Bo Nix not playing, but they use him a lot to supplement their run game. And that's what I saw. They didn't really have a true running game, And with that being said, they didn't have I guess the weather at the time to kind of open things up and do the short passes on the outside, the funnel screens and all that to kind of supplement that run game that wasn't there. That's kind of where the Patriots took over the game. Was in the second half they were able to get the run game started, and we saw that from the first drive in the second half that they took 8 runs, 1 pass, and we're in the end zone. In a little over 2 minutes there to start the second half. Of course, right when they scored, that's when the snow started, and so at that point it becomes a ground and pound defensive type game, especially with how it was snowing there. And so that's I think that's what hurt the Broncos in this matchup, was not that true running threat. And we really didn't see how much Bo Nix meant to that running game until this game without him in there. Stidham did a great job for a guy that hasn't played in over 2 years, an actual snap on the field. So it was good to see him in that rhythm early on, but that, like you said, that weather completely changed the game. And you kind of know in those types of games, if you don't have the running game going, then you're not going to be able to control the ball and keep your defense off the field to get them some breath. And we kind of saw that kind of wear out on them. And the weather just made it one heck of a ball game there. If you like defensive battles and stuff, not much of one to watch on the TV because you don't know what yard lines they're at.
Yeah. Even the announcers didn't know at one point where they at. They were hoping and praying that the grounds crew was going to come below the lines just enough to see where they were at. And yeah, it was definitely a defensive battle, to say the least. I am definitely in shock that we didn't see a lot more scoring take place in the game. But I will say definitely tip your caps to Sean Payton and what he was able to accomplish this season for the Denver Broncos. I mean, I really think that they hit a home run with Bo Nix as their quarterback. However, this was definitely proof in the pudding that they need some help other than just a simple, one guy and done kind of thing. And it's definitely it was an eye opener. Matt, we're talking about the Denver Broncos and the New England Patriots game. And obviously it's a tale of two halves, and weather did play a role completely in that game. What did you notice about the game? Like, I mean, obviously other than the fact that the weather played a huge role.
Shane, I love the backdrop, man. It's testament to what we all went through this weekend, man. But man. I mean, of course, it was just one of those things, man. I mean, a lot of things played a part in this particular thing. Denver could have pretty much won the game, man, if it wasn't for a few, decisions. But man, it was just one of them things, man. It was very, very, very weird. I call it a very weird game. I mean, pretty much.
The fact that the snow came the way it did, too. Even more unusual.
Yeah, it did, man. It did. It was just, again, a testament to what we all were going through this weekend, man, pretty much, man. And so that's kind of like how it was. It was just unpredictable. And it ended up being an unpredictable game. And it led to a couple of coaching decisions, that may have cost the teams. But, I mean, let's be real here, man. But both of those teams should be happy that they're there. So we're going to leave it like that.
So, I said this to Shane, and I want your thoughts on this too. Obviously, this is not characteristic of Sean Payton type games. We know what Sean Payton is capable of. We've known that for ever and a day with how good of an offensive-minded coach he is. But the questions were, why did you not take the points?
Exactly.
If you go back and you look, then he didn't. Will Lutz miss 2 field goals that were chip shots to him.
I mean, it was the weather.
The weather played a massive role on that one. And, people are sitting there talking about, was the weather really that bad? So just to give you an example, where I'm at, we ended up getting an inch of freezing rain. So we had an inch of ice. Shane, he got a lot of ice. We got almost 2 inches of sleet here alone. It was insane. The sleet really saved what could have been the absolute massive, catastrophic weather event of all time. I mean, they were talking about we could have almost seen 3 inches of freezing rain, and instead we got the vast majority of it came the sleet. It was just a weird situation. Matt was stranded at a hotel near his work because of weather. Shane, he lives in the mountains, and so he did experience all the weather. And as you guys also heard him say in the beginning of the show, he's having the both privileged and unfortunate privilege of having to deal with sub-zero wind chills and single-digit temperatures. We here in my area in the upstate of South Carolina, we are expected tomorrow morning's low to be 3. Think about that for a second. 3 degrees. That is bone chilling cold. Bone chilling cold. So, the reason why we bring up the weather is, we have a friend of ours. He is the Furman PA announcer, Mr. Brian Atkins. Well, he is stranded in Chicago, and his dog, little Bella, she was at a doggy daycare, and they were going to lose power, so they needed someone to come babysit her. So I'm going to introduce you all. That is Bella. That's Bella.
So she's like, leave me alone.
She is, dude, this dog, she's never met us. She is the absolute sweetest dog. She's about to turn 8 years old. She is a boxer pit mix, and she is absolutely a sweetheart. But the one thing I do not like about her, she snores loud as can be. Boy, does she ever snore. But she is so sweet. Brian will be picking her up tomorrow. But, the weather plays a huge role in everything. And the fact that we saw a team who basically is born and bred in that type of weather, they got absolutely manhandled. Well, it wasn't even any better in Foxborough. When they, at the exact moment the snow really started accumulating in Denver, they already had like 15 to 20 inches in Foxborough, and it was still coming down like absolutely insane. So it's just really weird that a Sean Payton type offense, they couldn't muster anything in the second half. It's just really weird. So let's go on the other end of the spectrum. Let's go up to Seattle. That game was actually really good. I thought at the end he did get out of bounds in time to save the clock. I thought there was time for one more play. I really did, but evidently the referees saw otherwise. The NFL did come out and say they are going to evaluate all the refereeing this off season because there have been questionable moments. Like, no duh. There have been questionable moments in a lot of their refereeing.
Let's be real. These refs are putting, and I'm not even gonna say that on whatever. But all I'm gonna say is parlays. That's all I'm gonna say. So,
yeah, I mean, people have said that the referees maybe have had money on these games, and that's why they're having some, questionable at best term used for calls, more like boneheaded questions. So they come out in that, but I was talking to start the show, Matt. You really got to tip your cap to Matt Stafford. Obviously, he is his 17th year in the NFL,
mm-hmm.
and mum's been the word. It's been hush hush about his future. What do you think, Matt? Do you think that that Matthew Stafford is done in the NFL, or do you think he has a couple years left?
I think he has a couple of years left, man. I mean, the older you get, man, you gain experience. And then one of the broadcasters mentioned it. They said Matt Stafford's seen every defense. It has accounted for every defense already, and he played like it. He played like it, man. There were crucial third down plays where he converted. Crucial fourth down plays he converted. I know he missed that one fourth down play in the end zone. I don't know what he was looking at on that one, but other than that, man, I mean, experience trumps all, man. Experience trumps all. Yeah, athleticism and arm power may go down, but his isn't. He can still sling it. So, I think I can see a couple of more years, man. I can see a couple more years with the Rams, and then I can see him giving it up. They they were literally a decision away from getting back to the Super Bowl. So, I can't fault them for coming back to try one more year. I gotta give them one more year.
Okay. And I do want to let everybody know also, I did literally just hear from Jonathan. I'm going to read to you his message to me. And it says, I apologize. One of my family members had a family emergency today, so I have been busy. When can we reschedule? So Jonathan Wells will not be attending tonight. He is dealing with family emergency. That's literally his message that he just sent to me. So it's okay. We have plenty to talk about. So as you got, I'm going to ask real quick, and then we'll go to our rundown. Matt, who wins Super Bowl 60? Is it finally Seattle gets it, or does New England say nope? The 2014 Super Bowl rematch now is still belonging to us.
You have to give it to Seattle, man, with their defense. I mean, look, the game they played yesterday against the Rams, that was probably the most amount of touchdowns and yards they gave up all year, or something to that effect. Drake May is not ready for that defense. He is not ready for that defense. But hey, we've been wrong before. I mean, we've seen these two teams, 10, 12 years ago, man, and they didn't give it to Marshawn to run it in the goal line. I mean,
I know.
So we seen these, man. We seen these when Malcolm Butler was the hero. I mean, we've seen this before with these two teams, and it's just crazy how these two teams can destroy and rebuild, but some teams can't even get back that, man. So, but some people can't, right? I'm gonna go with Seattle. Give me 28-7.
Whoa.
Garbage touchdown. They get it.
What do you think, Shane? What do you think the outcome, and who do you think will win this game?
I'm with Matt on this one. I think that probably 80% of any football fan with knowledge is going to lean Seattle's way here. I do think that with what New England found in the second half with their running game and how they were able to use it with the use of the draws and the quarterback run, I believe that plays a little bit into their hands for the Super Bowl. But I'm with Matt. That defense they've got too many athletes out there that do their job correctly and stay on point. That's one thing that they say, defense wins championships. Well, defense that is disciplined and does their job will win all day, every day. So that's I'm going to swing there, and I'm going to go a little bit closer. I'm going to go 24-17.
All right, very good. I like it. All right, so guys, obviously, we're bummed that Jonathan is not coming on today, but you know what though, guys, let's get right into it. Matt, I'm really eager to hear your thoughts on this. Rick Pitino, he hit a milestone recently with his 900th career victory. Now it has been said, even his son said it, he said it, that had he not gone to the pros for the 10 years he did, he could have become one of the all-time leaders in wins. So Matt, I want to go to you first. What type of legacy does he have now at 900 wins, and could he actually lead St. John's to this promised land of the NCAA tournament?
I mean, the woulda, coulda, shoulda. If Jordan would have played 5-6 more years than this, if Peyton Manning would have played 2 more years than this, if Brady wouldn't have played 5 more, you can't really say that, man. But Rick Pitino's a heck of a coach. Always been a heck of a coach. Even when he came to the league with I think it was the Nets, to the Nets, to the Celtics. Even when he came to the league, he was a respected coach. He just didn't have the personnel around him. Didn't have the players at the time. Man. He will go down as one of the best college coaches. I put him kind of in that Bob Knight vein. I got him kind of in there in that area, man. As far as coaches that are respected, he will. I think he will end up getting St. John's to the. He will end up getting St. John's to the NCAA tournament because his place is a destination. College kids, a lot of the newer recruits coming out, they want to go play for Rick Pitino. I know Hathaway's landed a couple of big top 40, 50 freshmen or something. 40, 50 freshmen. He got a couple of them. But Rick Pitino will go down as one of the better coaches that have coached in the game. And much respect to him.
Yeah, by the way, y'all, his son really does look like him, doesn't it? Like it's kind of like a spitting image. I mean, that's definitely his 2.0. What do you think, Shane? Does obviously we know he's going to be a Hall of Fame coach, but now that he's at 900, he's kind of really solidified himself as I'm the bleep. I am the bleep. But do you think he could lead St. John's all the way even?
I believe that he could come out, and as Matt said, he's getting the talent there. This is only what his second, third year in the program.
Hmm.
So, he's got to get that talent there. And especially, I know with the world of NIL and everything, it makes it extremely challenging. But he's a great coach, and could see his teams making it deep into the NCAA tournament. Just I'm not sure if the talent level is there yet to compete with some of the bigger name blue blood schools that we have playing ball right now at an extremely high level with extremely talented players. 900 wins is monumental. Now his name is with the Woodens and the Smiths and the Coach K's, all that of college basketball now with that many wins. So, congratulations for that. I did see one thing where he did tell his players that he was going to leave them in Cincinnati if they didn't win against his boy to give him that 900th win. But it's a great accomplishment, and I do agree. The what if question is going to be there for all time wins because of his stint, but it doesn't take away of how great a college coach he actually is by getting there and not having that wins record. So it's just one of those things that he's a great college coach. Many kids want to go play for him, and it's going to it'll be a couple more seasons, but look for the teams that he has to start making runs in the tournament.
This is from our guy John. He still has not forgiven Patino for beating that Wichita State team in 2013. That was one of the most legendary teams, absolutely. So it was interesting to see that one, and I will say this. We've all gotten a chance to see the legendary Patino. I mean, look what he did at Louisville. Look at what he's done everywhere he has gone. I mean, even to a degree in the pros, he actually was pretty decent in the pros. I mean, he obviously not great, but he was still pretty decent. But it's so I think when you mentioned he'll be go down as as in the mixtures with Coach K and John Whittle, all those things. I think Rick Pitino is going to end up being an ultimate legendary coach. I mean, I wouldn't be even surprised in 15, 20 years from now we're talking about some of the greatest coaches to ever walk the face of this planet, and his name will be obviously cemented in there. So we'll see. All right, let's switch it up, Shane. The next one we're talking about is a Major League Baseball. Yeah, Louisville did the team get a lot of sanctions on. Yes, they did, absolutely. Todd Helton is one of two statues that are going to be erected in front of Coors Field. The other one will be Larry Walker. Now, they'll be up in time for the first part of this season, is what they are saying, according to the Denver Post, and as well as the Colorado Rockies organization that says, what does this mean, Shane, for their statues in Major League Baseball? And who else should get a statue erected in front for them? Now, just give you an example. Let's just say for bleeps and giggles, Greg Maddux should get a statue because of what Greg Maddux did he did for Atlanta, but what he also did for Chicago. Who do you think should have a statue erected? And what are your thoughts on Todd Helton and Larry Walker getting their own statues?
Uh, Definitely congratulations to Todd Helton and Larry Walker for that organization. If you really go back and look since their start, those are really the two players that have been that franchise. You don't have many other star power players of that franchise, so it's great to see them get the recognition there in Colorado for sure. Uh, Now, as far as other monuments go for other teams and stuff, with statues, you could go into a full list of of plenty of them. But
Give me a couple then.
Well, I like the way that the Yankees do it with their Monuments Park. They kind of have statues and monuments there that are dedicated to the greats that have donned the uniform, not just one or two throughout history. They kind of do encompass a lot of all the players that they've had that have meant something to them in the past. So I think that recognizing everybody as an organization and for what they have done for you. Um, is greater than just individual accomplishments, because then as an organization you could start looking at changing out statues every few years or something like that, just based on moments that are impactful. And just as you say that you can do many different things in that sense. So as a fan of the Braves, I would like to see a couple different statues. One, Chipper's last at bat where he hit the walk off, where he posed for that. Like that would be a all time statue to have out there in front of Truist Park, and especially in the Battery area that they have. They could do a bunch with a bunch of great players that we've had through the organization for years.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. Mine is I would like to see Andrew Jones have his statue now that he is officially a Hall of Famer, but not just him in general. But I would like to them even do immortalize the catch that he had in the World Series, because they still have the wall part where he scaled the wall and his cleat stuck into the wall. They have that there permanently, but I think they should get a statue of him catching that ball the way he did in the World Series. That would be a pretty cool statue in my thoughts. Matt, what do you think about Todd Helton and Larry Walker getting a statue in front of Coors Field? And who else would you like to see get their own statue erected in baseball?
Hey man, well, congratulations to those two guys. Those two guys definitely deserve it, man. Especially like Shane alluded to, just piggybacking off of him verbatim. What they've done for the respective organization. I mean, it's, you don't get a lot of players that do that, or you don't get a lot of players that can carry your franchise in many different facets. I'm sorry, just take care of here for a second. There we go. All right, so yeah, man. Much respect to those guys, man. Much respect to anybody who really gets a statue. But as far as who else should get a statue, I mean,
just give me two.
You know what? Ooh, you're gonna hate me for this, but you're gonna hit me for it. But you're gonna be like, you know what? You're probably right. You get does Barry Bonds get one? I mean,
yes. I think he has one, doesn't
he? He has one.
I'm not sure if he's got one, but I would say that 7-16 home run was the way he pimped it.
Yeah.
So you gotta go with him, man. And also, man, I mean, as far as a newer age player, Mike Trout is to his organization.
He is the ace. He literally is. Yeah.
Somebody who could have left many times over, and the chose not to leave. Probably one of the best players in franchise history, if not the best player in franchise history. You gotta just, much respect to him, man. So I believe he's one of the ones that's gonna end up getting one.
So look, John just asked, doesn't Sammy Sosa have a statue? I think he does. I'm not 100% certain. I do think Mark McGwire should also get a statue, because they did basically bring baseball back to life after the strike. That one strike that they had. Usually they've had a bunch of strikes in Major League Baseball, but when the 98 season, that was like the season when you turned on Sports Center and it was Sammy Sosa hit 2, Mark McGwire hit 3, Mark McGwire hit 1, Sammy Sosa hit 2. It was always like back and forth. So they definitely, if Jose Canseco gets a statue, I'll lose it. I think honestly, look, and John, you're gonna hate me saying this, but 89 was the year that the Athletics played the Giants in the World Series. Remember, that was one of the greatest earthquakes that ever happened. And in actual recorded TV, it happened live on TV. And for those who remember, the LA Bridge collapsed. on top of people during that earthquake, and they canceled the World Series game, and they played it a few days later at a neutral site, I believe, because of so much damage that had transpired from that earthquake. But Jose Canseco, yes, he did a lot of like dumb stuff, but I will tell you, I think Jose Canseco should get one for the Athletics. I really do, because of what he did for the A's.
Yeah.
It's just that's just thoughts on that one,
I got a good one for you though, man. What about Aaron Judge?
I could see that when he officially, whenever it may be, hangs it up. Definitely erect one for him.
But
what he has done for the Yankees.
Yeah, that's what he's done for the Yankees. But he hasn't won a pennant with him yet, has he?
Yeah, they went to the World Series a couple years ago.
They went there, but did they win the World Series?
No,
they didn't win the World Series. Okay,
they haven't won it since the early 2000s.
Yeah. Okay.
To answer this question, I don't know if Salvador Perez should get one. He did a lot of stuff for the Kansas City Royals. I mean,
Big Puppy has one, right?
Yeah, Zach Greinke. I mean, I don't know. Then you'd have to go into, John, you'd also talk about Tim Lincecum. Should Tim Lincecum get a statue erected for him outside of I so badly want to say Candlestick. I don't even know what their field is named for the Giants. So it's crazy. All right, let's switch it up. Let's talk about the this one's really cool to talk with you guys. The coldest ever outdoor hockey match took place this past weekend. At game time, Matt, you ready to hear this? It was negative 28 degrees at the time of the game started. The temperatures, though, continued to drop. It was the Milwaukee Admirals, which is an AHL affiliate. They announced that the temperatures at halftime bottomed out at negative 39 degrees Fahrenheit. Just think about that for a second, Matt. It was so cold, they actually had to pause the game multiple times just to make sure players, fans, and even the referees stayed warm. They had heat guns actually lined up all over the entire stadium. They had those light posts that have the heats in them as well. They had a lot of heating stations. They had hand warmers for all the referees, the players, everything. It was one of the longest games too that has taken place. Every fan was even given blankets before the game started.
That's crazy.
This is how crazy it was. They had blankets, hats, gloves, face, everything. They were still cold. My question for everyone is, and this is true, to ask for you guys, what is the coldest sporting event that you have ever attended, and how cold was it? Now, I've been in games where the temperatures between 18 degrees and 24 degrees, and that's cold. Now, the coldest I ever played in, though, was 15 degrees, and it was a snow game. That was tough, but I'm going to start with you, Shane. What is the coldest game you have ever been to, and if you know how cold it was when at game time?
I'm not sure, and I'm not even going to say a game. It was actually a October race in Charlotte. I believe it was like 25 degrees with the wind blowing about 25, 30 mile an hour. So it was extremely cold. And when you get out there in a big 1.5 mile track that's wide open, where you have no kind of cover from that wind, it really gets to you. But there's been a few cold ones that I've been to. But I have to say that's probably the coldest I've been at any kind of sporting event per se. But now I can tell you, if I went to that hockey game, I would be having the hot hands, and I would be saran wrapping them to every part of my body, just to stay warm. And then I'd probably have like 2 or 3 heated jackets and stuff like that on as well. But any kind of negative temperatures, you probably won't see me out there for a long period of time at the first part anyway.
Oh gosh, now that I have a metal cage in my chest, I could only imagine the extreme level of intense pain that I would ever imagine feeling. Matt, what about you? What is the coldest game you've ever been a part of?
Oh, well, Coldest game I've been to. As you know, I grew up playing basketball mostly, so we're indoor. I mean, even though I played outdoor in the cold, of course, but closest game I've been to, it was a New York Jet game in December. It was like maybe 3 or 4 degrees. It was 3 or 4 degrees. But the wind chill made it feel like negative 15 or something like that. Never felt anything that cold in my life, man. I've never been in negative weather, so I don't know how anybody does it in negative weather. But I remember having. I was in my early 20s. I remember having the heated blanket, but that wasn't helping. It wasn't helping. It was a battery operated. It was battery operated, but it wasn't helping at all. So I mean, whenever I see people at Lambeau Field or Soldier Field or one of those stadiums, man, and it's freezing cold, I always just I applaud them because I'm like, yo, not me.
What about those fans at the Kansas City Chiefs Buffalo Bills game a few years ago?
Mm-hmm.
It was negative, like what? And there are people that were like shirtless and stuff. It was so cold. Even some of the players had to go and change in the middle of the game to get like warm gear on. But a lot of those fans they developed frostbite because it was so cold. That's when it's so cold that Patrick Mahomes' helmet shatters when it gets hit. That's when that's a little too cold to be playing. I mean, I couldn't imagine playing in that type of temperatures. I mean, gosh, just imagine how painful that would have to be. I've played in ice games and those hurt. That's like having, if you're trying to catch a ball and it's ice outside, you have a brick this big being thrown at you, that absolutely hurts. That really does hurt. So tip your cap absolutely to everybody who braves that. Also, what about the fans in Buffalo? They go and they're getting paid to go shovel the snow. And some of these videos of these people shoveling it when it's snowing, like insanely amount of snow in Buffalo, they're like shirtless. I'm like, bro, I couldn't do that. I really could not do that. So tip your caps to people who are able to handle the cold. And, I'm definitely a Southerner and proud of it, but man, I could not. I mean, heck, I just talked to our guy Mike. I talked to our guy Mike. They just got 25 inches of snow yesterday, and he had to shovel it out. And he unfortunately came under the weather, and he said that was the most snow he has ever shoveled. And he's a Northerner, and that says a lot. I mean, there was a story on the news today that this is like parts of Roanoke got 3.5 feet of snow. It's the most snow that they have received in a lot of people's lifetimes. It's insane to think that. All right, so let's switch it back to football. The College Football Playoff Committee has announced that in 2026-27, it will remain a 12-team college football playoff format, but that they will vote for expansion of the playoffs to either 14 teams or 16 after next season concludes. Now, they did also announce that they are going to discuss the possibility of expanding to either 18 or 24 teams. This discussion will start in 2028-29. Now, I'm going to go right with you, Shane. What are your thoughts on that? And did you happen to see the way too early college football playoff teams who are listed as the best odds to get into the 12?
Yeah, I did see some of that list. As far as the 12 team debate goes, I kind of agree with the playoff committee kind of leaving it at 12 for right now. Just for some kind of fluency in everything, that they're doing. Now, are they going to go through and change some of the ways that they think about and rank these teams? Yes, I hope so, because obviously we saw so much, kind of back and forth on who deserves these spots here in the past couple of years. So I think that they need to really sit down and focus on that part of it before they go expanding, just to try to remedy that, because even if you do expand, you're still going to have those arguments on, well, really, did they get it right with these last few teams coming in and all that? So I think that they need to, kind of dissect, their process a little bit more And I think making the decision to leave it at 12 teams gives them ample ability to do so. Now, will that change anything? Who knows? But some of these teams that are mentioned in this way too early list is exactly that, way too early. With the current landscape and transfers and the portal and everything else like that, you really don't know who's who anymore until you get kind of deeper into the spring ball and the summer workouts kind of deal. So way too early. First part of the season coming out, maybe you can listen to those, but way too early right now coming out. It's just all about what they have on paper coming back and what they have in the portal. So it's all a guess.
I agree, Matt. Here, I'm going to give you a list, Matt. I want you to hear this. Is just 14. I'm not going to give all 25. Number 1, obviously, is Indiana. Number 2 is UGA. Number 3 is Alabama. Number 4 is Oregon. Number 5 is Michigan. Number 6 is Ohio State, and that's a questionable one because Arthur Smith is now the offensive coordinator, and we know what kind of OC he is. Number 7 is Southern Cal. Number 8 is Washington. Now, here's where it gets kind of interesting. Number 9 is Tulane. Number 10 is Virginia. Number 11 is your team, Matt, Georgia Tech. The number 12 team, you ready to hear this, is Hawaii. Hawaii is listed as the 12th team right now to get into the college football playoff. Number 13 is 11. Let me see. Is it Illinois Wildbrain?
Hawaii, what, like Hawaii Tech or something?
13 is Illinois, and number 14 is Vanderbilt. That's the 14. I'm not going to give you all 25, but that's a pretty impressive list. I mean, you're talking one team that hasn't really been a mention to a playoff type style since 2007. That's Hawaii. But what are your thoughts on this, Matt? Like, I mean, that's a pretty substantial list. I think Indiana has a right to be there just because I think Cignetti has completely turned the atmosphere around in Indiana. But what are your thoughts on this list so far?
My thoughts were first, why is Brandon want to worry about a way too early college football list when the season just ended? But then I see number 12, and I'm like, okay, all right. I see. I see why. But no, man. As far as the as this early list, I mean, with the question, with the top four, yeah, okay. 4 or 5, if you want to include Michigan. Michigan does have Bryce Underwood now about the so taking the next step, which I think he will end up being the best quarterback in the country next year. Excuse me, but with that, man, when it gets to about 7, 8, 9, 10, that's 10 and down. I'm like a lot of interchangeable. Me personally, I will put and this is not me being biased, but I will put Tech over Tulane, just due to Tech's recent additions. But again, I get it way too early, and they got to play first. I also will put.
I think the reason why they put Tulane so high is because of the year in and year out consistency of success they've had so far. That too
as well. And with Illinois, with their additions, some really good freshmen they have coming in, and the veterans that they have, I will put Illinois probably around 10. But man, as far as the college football playoff, I think 12 is where they need to keep it for right now. I mean, we just got this thing, man. This thing has just started. Let it marinate for a few years. Let it go for 10 years, and people complain about it for 10 years before we change it, which I think is what's going to happen. Because at first, when they first came out, it was all like, oh, yeah, we're going to be at 12. Then it's going to go expand here and expand here and expand here. But the reality of it set, and you saw how long this took. And then it was like, okay, well, hold on for a second. Dang, if we don't stop messing around, we're gonna be competing for the Super Bowl on a weekend, man. So I think they're gonna keep it here for a good at least 10 years, man, before they expand.
I can see it. Look, we have a bunch of people watching. We'd love to know your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think they should expand it to 14, 16? I mean, heck, as you just did hear. They're going to debate starting in 2028-29 for the possibility of going between 18 to 24. Who knows what's going to happen? Let us know what you think. All right, so let's go to Shane. Shane, you have a little sports story to share. Let us know what the sports story is, man. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, of course, I want to kind of dive in and share a little bit about what's going on with Dabo Sweeney, Ole Miss, and Pete Golding going on here in the news the past week or so. Now the NCAA is opening up a tampering case into Ole Miss, and is looking not good for Ole Miss. And this isn't just going back this kind of transfer cycle or anything else like that. They're actually digging back in a few years, and so we're definitely going to have to see exactly what's going to happen and how the NCAA is going to handle it, and how much involvement Lane Kiffin's going to be in this with him being at LSU. So this is kind of been the conversation here lately with the NCAA and all these new transfer rules and everything that they've put in place. And Dabo's come out publicly against it, and with the receipts that he read off on the text messages, everything else like that. This just sounds like a crooked world that we're in right now when it comes to getting high level football talent on the field at colleges. So I think that we should see something pretty quick from the NCAA down on kind of how in depth this investigation is going to be. But we're going to have to wait and find out. But I'll go ahead and put it like Dabo. Nobody's safe, and either you're about it or you're not.
Absolutely, and they're gonna get. I have this sneaky feeling Ole Miss is gonna get the hammer dropped. I really did, because here's what everybody always tells you, don't put it in writing. It will come back to bite you. And guess what? If you listen to that press conference, Matt and Shane, he gives specific times of when the text messages came in. That's pretty, excuse my language, it's pretty damning. You right then and there. That is the straw that broke the camel's back. You're gonna get the hammer dropped on you. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a big fine happening. I could see vacating of some wins possibly. I mean, all options are on the table right now. I mean, dare I even say, could they even receive the death penalty? Because tampering in the NFL, as you guys know, it's a big no-no, Matt. You know this. We got slapped with a $250,000 fine for the Atlanta Falcons because Atlanta tampered with Kirk Cousins. And of course, what made it even worse is that he chirped, but and they lost draft picks because of that. And if it's that serious in the NFL, could you imagine what's going to college football? What do you think, Matt?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that last part?
What do you think? Do you think that they're going to get the hammer dropped on them?
I don't know, man. With Dabo, it depends, man. Dabo isn't really like the media darling or the quote unquote golden child anymore, man, of coaches. Now he's like the guy who's not. He's the old guy who's not complying or conforming to change. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does get the hammer dropped on him and he has to lead the program. I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised, and then he ends up going somewhere else and revitalizing his career. It happens.
Oh boy.
So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Well, it didn't happen for Jimbo Fisher, but we'll see what happens.
No, Jimbo Fisher's sitting at home making that $76 million.
Jimbo Fisher is eating good in the neighborhood.
That's right. He has a fine dining, five-star dining daily. All right, Matt, give us your sports story, please.
Okay, cool. All right, now
just don't say model citizen, please.
I'm not gonna say model citizen, but let's talk about what happened this weekend, because the Super Bowl matchup is set, and it's not like what everybody had on the bingo card. We're getting the Patriots versus Seahawks, and the headline is pretty much one name: Sam Darnold. if you can believe that or not. So Seattle wins the NFC title game 31-27 in a shootout. And Darnold threw for over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, no panic, no excuses. This is the same guy that the league labeled a bust. The same guy that teams gave up on. And now he's the reason Seattle's playing for a championship. He's their quarterback. And here's what made this weekend wild. Both conferences got here in totally different ways. The NFC was chaos, big plays, late drama, momentum swings. The AFC was a straight up fist fight. Patriots won 10-7 in a game that looked like it was played in 1997. It was deep field position and grounded out football. So pretty much, man, now the Super Bowl question becomes this. Are we watching a true quarterback redemption story? Or are we watching what happens when an organization finally puts the right pieces around a guy? Because, Seattle didn't ask Darnold to be Superman, but they gave him protection. They gave him balance and trust. And he delivered when it mattered the most, as we saw this past weekend when they were playing the Rams. But on the other side of it, man, the Patriots just keep doing the Patriot things. They don't wow you. They don't dominate the headlines. They just survive and advance, and they dare you to beat them. So the Super Bowl pretty much it's not about rings. I think it's a little bit about legacy. If Seattle wins, Sam Darnold's entire career narrative flips overnight. He was the third pick in the draft. I think Lamar Jackson and what's his name, the Bills quarterback,
Josh Allen.
I think they were in the same draft.
Yep. He's the first quarterback of that class to get into the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he was Sam Darnold was third pick in the draft at a USC, man. Everybody just thought he was magic. And then, but if he wins the Super Bowl, his career flips overnight. Nobody will even remember Sam Darnold being, labeled a bust. They'll be like, man, Sam Darnold was the best quarterback in this draft. He got a Super Bowl ring. But if New England wins, it's another chapter in the story of doing more with less. So pretty much, man, either way, it'll probably be a fascinating Super Bowl matchup. And it pretty much all starts with a quarterback that nobody believed in. So I got to give it up to Sam Darnold for flipping his career.
Absolutely. My sports story, real quick. As they called him, the snowboarding cocaine kingpin Ryan Wedding was absolutely finally caught. He was one of the 10 most wanted fugitives in the world. He was captured finally, but just an absolute bizarre story. He was a former Olympian and snowboarding, and he was bigger than most of the massive drug lords. So that's so strange to think someone of that level could have been donned as a kingpin, but yeah, they caught him. And it always goes to show the smallest ones are the ones that get you the most. They don't make the most noise, but they definitely turn heads. All right, let's go to our favorite topic, everybody. It is yes, it is the honorable mentions. We're going to give you a few stories that the mainstream media probably doesn't cover, or if they haven't covered enough. Now, my first one, I'm going to say shout out to everybody in the entire Southeast, more specifically the entire East Coast and part of the Midwest. They were dealt between 10 and 30 inches of snow. In some places got up to 1 inch and 3/4, so 1.75 inches of ice. And next weekend, y'all, makes an interesting little tidbit in the South. It looks like it could be a straight snowstorm. Models are hinting that it could be if it just literally curves 20 miles, not even 20 miles. We could be talking about snow totals that we saw in the blizzard of 93, but averaging 3 to 7 inches of snow. So it's going to be crazy that we ain't done winter yet, and they're talking about February the 7th could also be pretty interesting. We could absolutely see a back-to-back of massive snowstorms. So that's my first shout out. All right, my next one goes to Matt. Matt, give us your honorable mention, sir.
My first honorable mention, man, is definitely going to go to I guess
is Lily. Lily was telling you about it.
Nah, man, my first honorable mention, of course, man, I got to give it to both teams, man, the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks, man. Nobody thought that they were going to get there, and nobody had them pegged as people to get there, and they got there. So I got to give it to both teams, man, their coaching staffs, their players. I'm just going to name just pretty much their whole teams, man. Congratulations to both sides.
I like it. All right, Shane, give us your first honorable mention, sir.
My first honorable mention is gonna go out to NASCAR. They've come out. They are getting rid of the Roval in Charlotte this fall. for the playoff race. It's going to go back to the Oval, which is what everybody agrees with is the best racing at that track. So definitely be a fun one to see. And also shout out to them, first time ever putting a ice salt brine deal on a racetrack, because come Sunday night they'll be up in Bowman Gray Stadium for the Clash there at in Greensboro. So shout out to NASCAR for making some moves and hopefully getting the fans back into it for sure.
Absolutely. All right, my next one, Matt, has to go to AJ Debanta for his record-setting scoring feat that he did this weekend for BYU. They blew the absolute socks off of Utah. Remember, at one point, both were ranked, both were undefeated, and since the BYU beat Utah the last time, Utah has only won like 2 games since then. It's insane. Well, AJ Debanta scored 43 points, but was also neat too, Matt. You ready to hear this? This is something that has never been done, as 3 freshmen hit the 40-plus point mark in the same day. We had one guy score 47, one guy scored 46, and AJ Debanta hit 43. Just absolutely insane to have that. This upcoming freshman class, and you already mentioned it, Matt, when they all go pro, it's going to be ultra elite. But hey, Atlanta, I'm just going to throw this out here.
AJ.
You do have that. You have the chance to get that number 3 pick, and Debanta is listed.
They might get the number 2, number 1 pick as well. Hey, man.
They're listed between 1 and 3. Atlanta, make the call.
Debanta is the guy that they need to get. That's the guy they need to get. I mean, it's simple.
He hit. I don't know if you guys saw what was even more crazy. It's like BYU was like 9 of 13 on 3-point attempts. It's insane how accurate they were. I mean, they couldn't miss. They literally they give the ball to AJ and they said, "Watch, AJ's gonna get this ball. Who thinks he get the ball?" He just throws the ball, goes swish. And then he gets it again, and he does this monster tomahawk dunk. Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah, this guy's legit. And I sent the video to everybody, and Mike texted me back, and he goes, when did you become a BYU fan? I'm like, I'm not a BYU fan. I'm an AJ
Debanta fan, so we can draft him.
Yes. And what AJ is doing, he's lighting it up left and right. So that's why I sent that video. So, all right, Matt, let's give you your next honorable mention, sir. Do not do what I think you're about to do.
You're right. I'm just gonna do this instead. Oh man.
I knew you were gonna do it.
Hey guys, you gotta give it to him. Man.
Terrible.
For those who don't know, for those who are living under a rock,
Matt, living under that rock.
Shedeur Sanders, guys, is officially an NFL Pro Bowler. So my honorable mention is going to go to Shedeur Sanders. Congratulations, sir, for being a Pro Bowler. That is something nobody will ever be able to take away from you. So no matter what they say, no matter what they do, no matter how much they hate on you, no matter how much you suck, no matter what, you will always be an NFL Pro Bowl quarterback.
All right, take that off. We don't want to get flagged. Take that off so you don't get flagged, Matt. Seriously. There you go. All right, Shane. Give us your next honorable mention, sir.
My next honorable mention is going to go out to Brandon Miller and the Charlotte Hornets today. They took on the 76ers. Miller dropped 30 points, was 6 of 8 from the 3-point line. But ended up, I think they were leading by 50 points. I believe, going into the fourth quarter there. Of course,
that's the second time they've done that, remember?
Yeah, of course.
This season.
George and Embiid didn't play, but, shout out to them. They're putting up points. They're being a little sneaky team for as bad as they have been in the past. So shout out to them today for their performance.
Absolutely. All right, my last honorable mention. Matt, I got to give it to my team. The shout out to the Lady Eagles, the 8U basketball team. Now we did lose 17-14 this weekend, but it was the most complete game for both teams. And now we are back at it this week on Thursday and on Saturday. But I got to tell you this, Matt. We have a little girl on our team. She's never played basketball a day in her life, but her uncles played with my brother-in-law, Seth. This girl is scrappy. Y'all ready to hear how many steals she averages a game? This is an absolute insane. She averages 15 steals a game. That's how good she is. And
That's insane.
yes, and I'm so proud of her. Well, it gets even better. One of our other girls, she has always been very timid with regards to the basketball game, but she's my center, and she had 3 blocks, and she had 3 steals, and she scored 3 points. So she was a 3-3-3 girl. Really proud of the team. We're back at it Thursday. So, we'll have a game on Thursday at 6 p.m. So I just want to give a quick shout out to the Lady Eagles. I definitely want to give a shout out also to the other team. Matt, you weren't on when I mentioned this, but the coach that we played this weekend, her name is Cassie, and she coaches for Wren. And she said, I almost threw a chair on the court 2 games ago. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so funny you said it. She's like, why? And I go, my co-host calls me Bobby Knight Jr. and says he could see me throwing a chair on the court. And she goes, I guess that makes me Bobby Knight 3.0. So shout out to Coach Cassie and Wren for beating us 17-14. But shout out to my girls for really playing the first complete game the entire season. So proud of them. All right, Matt, give us your last honorable mention, sir.
Ooh, all right. So my last honorable mention is actually going to go to the Atlanta Hawks, man, who after they traded Trae Young, they lost like 4 or 5 straight. They finally, it seems like they're kind of putting it together, and they won 3 straight, albeit it was, Memphis, Phoenix, and Indiana. But hey, 3 straight in the NBA is 3 straight. So their next few games are going to be really tough. They got Boston and Houston. So shout out to the Hawks, man. It looks like they're finding their groove without Trae being there.
And we can still get AJ DeBanza. Just saying. All right, Shane.
Keep losing.
Yep. All right, Shane. Give us your honorable mention, sir.
My last honorable mention is going to go out to Mr. Scotty Scheffler. I believe his second tour event that he's played this year. They were in La Quinta this past weekend, playing some beautiful courses with some beautiful scenery. But Sunday, Scotty showed up, put on a show for everybody, and showed why he was the world number 1. And, also a special shout out goes to Mr. 18-year-old Blades Brown.
Yes.
Perfect golf name out there. But shout out to him. Played, I believe, 9 consecutive rounds between Korn Ferry, making the trip from Sunday to Wednesday from the Bahamas to California to play this weekend. So shout out goes to him as well for a great performance for a young man. But definitely Scotty, number 1 in the world, and he showed it Sunday for sure.
Yep, absolutely. I got to give a special shout out also to our good friend Brian Atkins, the Furman PA announcer. This is the testament of what friends are all about. They were stranded in Chicago, need to get his dog, and I'm going to show you now what she has moved into. This is her now. Miss Bella has moved over to Let Me Get Loved On by Everybody. So she is an absolute sweetheart. She goes home tomorrow, but she is a sweet dog. I've always had a good time. Stella did too, until Stella got protective over her bone and a little bit of a disagreement back and forth. So Stella is also an only dog, but little Bella. It's so funny, Stella Bella. We call our dog Stella Bella, but we have a Bella right here, so it's just really interesting. So, all right, look, guys, we had a fantastic episode. Really honored that everybody tuned in. Yeah, we had a lot of people watch tonight. Want to let everybody know, I think from what Jonathan he's been actually messaging me back and forth. I'm waiting for him to say if it's good, but I think Friday the 30th, he will be on. I'm just waiting for him to respond. Matt, I'm going to get you his contact information too. So if he has any questions, he can correlate with you as well. But Wednesday, we have our good friend Marcus McCallum back. And we're going to talk about what else? The Super Bowl. Baseball season is about to hear, so we're going to talk with him. Friday the 30th, we might have Jonathan Wells come on. Fingers crossed we can get it lined up. Monday, the 2nd of February, we have Will Ritchie. He is the PA announcer for University of Arkansas at Monticello. I'm actually really excited about that one. Wednesday the 4th, We do have another episode Friday, the 6th of February. We have Bo Crutch, who covers the Seattle Kraken, will be coming on as well. Now, our guest that was slated for February the 9th, she actually messaged me today and said we need to reschedule because they have something come up with the athletic director. No worries on that one. I want to let you guys also know that we are working hard on booking even more amazing guests, y'all. I mean, when you see the list, it's going to blow your socks off at the people. We are really close to getting the play-by-play announcer for Tampa Bay Lightning. I literally just secured today, actually, and I sent you, Matt, and everybody a reminder about it. It is on the 18th of February. Let me make sure. Let me see, just to double check. Okay, maybe it's the 16th. I'll look, but the public address announcer for the Anaheim Ducks is coming on. Yes, Phil Hewlett is coming on. Really good guy. So really excited about that one. So stay tuned. I promise you guys, your socks are going to be knocked off when you see the amount of guests that we're booking. So with that being said, for everybody who tuned in today, we really do appreciate it. I'm just going to give you guys a little number crunch right here. Shane, you were at 292 people watching tonight. That's insane. Twitter was 119. Brian's was at 84. Whatever it is that you and Cassie are doing, Shane, keep it on. Cassie had 186 and YouTube is at 35. So we had a lot of people tune in tonight. So I want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in. But Shane, give your final goodbyes to everybody, please, sir.
Oh, yeah. Well, hopefully everybody can stay warm with this cold front that we're getting from this Arctic wind and weather that we've had this past weekend. Just as I always say, may the good Lord bless you. Peace, love, and bacon grease.
Peace, love, and bacon grease, indeed. All right, Matt. It's you. Give the final goodbye, sir.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Would it be a Monday, beginning of the week? For those who didn't listen to me on Friday, that means you got out today. So, hey, man, guys, no matter what you do, always play by the rules, man. Don't get flagged in the game of life. If you're going to go out, you're going to party, you're going to drink, whatever, make sure you have a DD or make sure you have an Uber. Don't get flagged in the game of life, guys. It's not worth it. You don't want the whoops to go up behind you and take your way. So, yeah, man, let's just do that. Yeah, just be safe out there, man. Be safe out there and respect everything.
Yeah, that's right. Keep your nose clean. Flagged. Yes. As our guy Mike always tells you, Pinsman Sports, that there is a lot of hate in this world. If you don't like what the other person's saying, just walk the other way. And Brian will always tell you love each other and be kind. As I always tell you guys, peace up, A-Town, down Y. It's the greatest sports city there ever was. Hey, want to give a quick also shout out to the Tampa Bay Lightning. If they're currently up 1-0 against the Utah Mammoth, but they win. They are officially 11-0-1 in their last 12 matches. So we're starting to see some separations coming along in the hockey world. I hope you guys have a fantastic evening. As Matt and Shane have alluded to, stay safe. It is going to be cold. Cold with a capital C. It's going to be freezing. So stay warm. And if you have elderly people or people who don't have the heat, like people who can heat themselves, check on them. Make sure they're okay. You guys have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk to you soon. Good night, everybody.